Sam, there must have been moments in that third quarter where you thought you wouldn't be sitting here as happy as you are now, but the belief your team showed in the fight in that fourth quarter to get the game back in your terms, you must be really proud of.
Oh, enormously proud of the boys. They, to have a big lead and then to give it up and then to get back in front and to show the resilience that we did, that was a great win. I'm really proud of all the lads and how they went about it. If there was a lot of doubt for different moments and we couldn't get the game on our terms, but I think it took every player today. I don't think we could have got away with having anyone not perform and not do their role. Just GWS a good side, and we had to play, very close to our best for almost the whole game. We thought we played really well, and we still could only just get it done, and that's what finals is about, and we'll take some confidence from it.
What sort of work have you done in those mental battles in moments like that when you're into, I guess, completely against your side? You've got to find a way to scrap back in and challenging your team, especially at three-quarter time, to go, okay, we've got to go again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the story you want to tell, but across this season in particular, interstate, we've been in just about every game, but we haven't been able to get it done at the end. And the players have been really honest about what happens and how they're feeling and how to turn it around and what they would do differently next time. And it's taken us a lot of goes. We're in front in Darwin, we're in front in Adelaide, we're in front in Freo. We've had 3 interstate, and in Brisbane, I don't know if we're in front at three-quarter time, but we're certainly right in it. To throw away the 4 games when we've had opportunities to win, we haven't shied away from it. We've embraced that we need to improve and we need to win on the road. And we did it today, but we're going to have to do it again next week. So, excited for the opportunity that we get to stay alive.
Just on that, did you keep the message simple at three-quarter time?
Yeah, I mean, the message at three-quarter time, if you ask the players, I doubt they would have a clue what I said. But the message was we have to win the game. We can't try to save it. We're in front, but only just. But we've got a game on our hands, and we know what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to get back through the corridor, and they're very, very good at it. I think they're really well drilled, and our players were so disciplined and so vigilant at what we had to do defensively. But they still had, sometimes when the game's close like that, you don't want to take some run and flare and you can play a bit safe. But to the boys' credit, I thought they, to a man, we played in the right manner and we got what we deserved in the end.
On that discipline, how chuffed were you with that defensive system? I think at the start it was 12 inside 50s the Giants had, but to keep them to 2 behind, so it must be very impressive.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of the first and second quarter, I was really pleased that we had the back 6 that we did. It was just in there the whole time and we just couldn't get any ascendancy, and we maybe got a little bit lucky, but our pressure was really high. And then we were fortunate, we were able to score on the way back. But the game, we felt like the game reasonably suited us, but the challenge, we played not too dissimilar to GWS really, so there's probably a few things that they would have been quite happy with. They would have been happy with a lot of inside 50s, but we knew they were potent from the back half in particular, so we wanted to make sure that we were strong in that area. I thought we limited their scores from the back half reasonably well, but our defence held up against, I don't know what the inside 50s were in the end, but I think they probably had 70 odd, so the back line held up.
Tom Barras, it was a big move to get him here to the club, and I guess especially that first up, but really the whole game, he kind of showed why in terms of how well he was reading the game, but also just winning some of those one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, I think with big Tommy Barras, the thing about him is if you can force pressure up the field, then he's going to be in his element. And I thought the midfield pressure was really strong. The amount of times he's a very, very good player. The amount of times he had run and had a bit of space in front of him, but we were just able to limit his impact enough to put a bit of height on the ball, which then played into TB's hands. And I thought that the whole defence stood up enormously well. If you went through all 7 of the guys that played in the back half today, they all had great moments, whether it was, I thought scrim was really important, particularly late in the game. Hardwick and Sicily, probably I haven't looked at the stats, but probably not prolific as far as possessions, but their one-on-one wins and halves at key moments in the game I thought were vital. Josh Battle Carl Amon and Jarman Impey, I thought if you think about the running power that they all produced at different moments to keep the ball going forward for us, I think that whole back seven mixed really well. And that gave us the luxury of moving Josh Weddle around a bit more, so he played a bit of wing, played a bit forward, and obviously spent a bit of time in defence as well.
John Newcombe had a big impact. He seems to have a game that's built for finals, really.
Yeah, the midfield, I thought, they battled manfully. I mean, they're very, very good, GWS, and when Darcy Jones goes out of the side and they bring on Josh Kelly, it's like, man, which one do you want to stop? Is a really difficult matchups, against them. And I thought Jai was obviously enormous for us, but I thought the collective of the midfield was really important. I think they obviously had Callaghan and Green that got a heap of the footy and probably were on top, particularly through the third quarter, but probably those two in the first half were really strong. But the collective of our midfield I thought was excellent. So, Warps, Nashi and Wardy, I thought those collectively, while they don't get big numbers, their pressure, their tackling, their running power, I thought was really important in the game.
And you're obviously back to Adelaide for another semi-final against a different team this time, but where do you see the improvements that you've made, I guess, even just from today's final compared to where you were 12 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We obviously go to the same venue as last year, the same week. So we need to learn lessons. We're playing a different team. But we played Adelaide not too long ago, and they're a very good side. They would have learnt a lot. They haven't played finals for a period of time, and they played the other night, and they weren't miles off it, I didn't think, for the majority of that game. So we know that Adelaide, they finished on top of the ladder. They got a double chance. They get to play at home, and we feel like this was an important win for us, for our identity and being able to be a team that can win on the road, but also to keep our season alive. But we go again, and I think the game will be, I'm hearing whispers that it might be on Friday night. So we've got a short turnaround. We'll get back to Melbourne tonight, and we'll enjoy it for 24 hours, but by Monday we'll be ready to take on the Crows.
You mentioned Josh Weddle. How important was it to have his presence back?
Yeah, he's fun to watch, wasn't he? I think even at half time, I was surprised. I looked at some of the stats and he hadn't had much of the footy, but I thought he'd had a couple of really key moments, and his running power was really important. And then in the third quarter, I thought he started to, look like himself and get his vibrancy and energy. And I think his contest in front of the ball, he didn't mark them all, but he just is such a tough matchup. His running power and his aerial prowess. So, I'm pleased to have him back.
Those moments from Jackie, I mean, they're almost forgotten a little bit because of what happened in sort of the next 15 minutes of the third quarter. But to take that moment when that arm wrestle that was kind of going on in the third quarter there to kick those two goals, how important was that? I mean, we look at the final score when there's only a couple of goals in it, they were massive moments.
Yeah, I mean, Guinea, the thing I probably loved the most about Guinea's game, and he won't like me saying it, is that he was a bit flustered early. And in finals that happens. Players they're not feeling it. And, if you looked at his first couple of moments, he missed the ball with a kick and he just sort of fumbled unlike him. And to be able to go from that to then turn it around and put in a performance like that, I think, full credit to him. You forget sometimes how young he is, and he's had a bit of finals experience and premiership player, obviously. But for him to start in a way that he wasn't that pleased with, but then to turn it around and really keep us, he kept a bit of momentum for us in that third quarter. And, I'm really proud of what he's producing, because probably his on-field stuff is doing a lot of talking at the moment, and that's been really pleasing for him, that he's getting a bit of credit for what he does on the field, because it's, I think if you look at the fans that came along, there were so many Hawks fans. There was a couple of bays that were just so rowdy. The players loved it, and he was able to, he's one of those people that gets the fans right behind him and behind us, and really proud of his game.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.